Once you try this, you'll never buy hot sauce again, because hot sauce isn't just about heat, it's about flavour. And with just 2 ingredients, you can make a hot sauce that is fiery, tangy, and completely alive with flavour. The kind of depth you'll never get from a shop-bought bottle. We'll be using Fresno chilies, red pepper, garlic, and onion, but the real trick is how we treat them. And later I'll show you a shortcut version that takes just 20 minutes so you can taste the difference yourself. And by the end, you'll know exactly why this method makes the most amazing hot sauce. To make this sauce, I'm using Fresno chilies. They're readily available at my local market, and honestly, I'm not a hardcore chili head. When I make hot sauce, I'm after flavour, not some sort of chili endurance challenge. Fresnos are fruity, slightly smoky with a medium heat that won't blow your head off, and that makes them perfect for a sauce you actually want to eat again and again. That said, you can use whatever chilies you like. If you want to push the heat, you can go for Reapers or Scorpions, or just add 1 or 2 to the mix and then go from there until you find your sweet spot. The beauty of this method is it will work with any chili you choose. Now for the supporting cast. Garlic is a no-brainer. It just works with chili and adds depth every time, so I throw it in almost by default. Red onion is optional, but I love the sharp allium bite it brings, almost like a salsa note that lifts the whole sauce. And finally, red pepper. This adds mild sweetness and body, helping balance the heat. If you prefer, you can skip the pepper and replace it with more chilies if you want extra kick. To make the hot sauce, start with the Fresnos. Remove the tops and slice them in half. Fine chopping isn't needed here because we're going to be blending the sauce later anyway. You can remove the seeds if you want. I don't think it's necessary. They don't add much bitterness, and by leaving them in, you get extra flavour and extra heat. Next, peel the garlic cloves. No chopping needed. They'll break down in the blender too. Then roughly chop up the onion and red pepper. Again, don't worry about being precise. Just make sure everything will fit easily into a jar. So once everything's chopped, it's time to pack it into a clean glass jar. Now here's the key. How do we transform these raw ingredients into a deep, complex sauce that beats pretty much anything you'll buy in the supermarket? 2 ingredients: salt and water, plus 1 other ingredient that's often overlooked: time. We're going to lacto ferment this sauce, and for that you'll need a brine. I use a simple 3% brine. That's 30 grams of sea salt dissolved into 100 grams or a kilo of water. You can get more precise by weighing your jar and then calculating the salt by the total weight of your veg and the water, but honestly, I find this brine method much easier. And yes, the purists are right. Once everything equalizes in the jar, the concentration will drop slightly, probably to around 2.5, 2.75%, but that's still within the safe zone, and for me, it works beautifully. Pour the brine over the chilies and vegetables until they're completely submerged. If you've got fermentation weights, use them. If not, a small sterilized glass bowl like this, or even a Ziploc bag filled with water will do the job. The important part is to make sure that nothing floats above the brine. And here's a tip: always use glass jars or containers, not plastic. Glass is non-porous, so it won't scratch and hold on to bacteria or potentially leak chemicals into your ferment. Plus, you can see exactly what's happening as it bubbles and changes, which is half the fun. If you'd like the full step-by-step method all written out, you can find it over on my Patreon, along with all my other recipes. It's a great way to support the channel and get all the recipes in one place. Now that everything's submerged in the brine, the magic starts. Over the next few days, the good bacteria that naturally live on the chilies and vegetables will start to wake up, and they'll feed on the natural sugars and convert them into lactic acid. That acid is what gives the fermented hot sauce its tangy, complex flavour, while also preserving the sauce for months. And this is why we use salt water, not just plain water. The salt creates a safe environment that holds back bad bacteria and lets the good ones, like lactobacillus, thrive. That balance is what allows fermentation to happen safely without your ingredients spoiling. At first, it won't look like much, but after a couple of days, you'll start to see some bubbles forming. The brine might turn cloudy and the smell might shift from raw vegetables to something sour, almost fizzy, but that's when you know it's alive and working. Just remember, because the bacteria releases carbon dioxide, you want to be careful with fully airtight seals. I use a jar with a rubber seal which does let gas escape. In fact, it let out so much that I had to keep the jar in a bowl to catch the liquid spilling out instead of it going all over my counter. Even with a rubber seal, I still burp my jar once a day just to be safe. But if you're using a regular screw top jar, you are going to want to make sure you burp it once or even twice daily. Just crack the lid open slightly to let the gas escape, and then you can close it again. That way you avoid the pressure building up inside and turning your kitchen into some sort of hot sauce explosion zone. Keep the jar at room temperature. Somewhere between 18 and 22 degrees C is ideal. Out of direct sunlight is best, so the kitchen counter or on a shelf works perfectly. You can ferment for as little as 5 days for a fresher, sharper flavour, or leave it for 2 weeks or more for something deeper and funkier. Taste as you go and then stop when it's right for you. Just remember, warmer temperatures speed things up, cooler ones slow them down, so adjust your timings accordingly. Once the ferment is ready, it's time to turn it into sauce. Mine's been going for just over a week now. The initial bubbling has calmed, the vegetables have softened and broken down, and it smells sharp, tangy, and almost like a salsa. Pour everything through a sieve, keep in the brine. We're going to need that later on. The chilies, garlic, onion, and pepper can go straight into a blender with just enough brine to cover the vegetables. Then add a splash of white wine vinegar and some lime juice. This not only balances the flavour with extra acidity, but also helps stabilize the sauce, slowing down any further fermentation, stopping it from bubbling over in the bottle. Blitz until smooth. If it still looks chunky, add a little bit more brine and keep blending. You can thin it to a pourable consistency, or you can hold some brine back for a thicker, spoonable sauce. The result is a bright red sauce that is fiery, tangy, and complex, completely different to anything you can buy in the shops. And that sour edge you'll taste is the lactic acid created during the fermentation, and that's what gives this sauce its depth and its complexity. Transfer to sterilized bottles or jars and store in the fridge, and it'll last for months. Just give it a shake before using because we haven't added any emulsifiers, so some separation is normal. You can also tweak it to your taste, to splash more vinegar for sharpness, a touch of honey for sweetness, or leave it as is. The base flavor is already so strong. Personally, I love warming it with a gentle knob of butter and pouring it over some fried chicken tenders. But what if you don't want to wait a week or two? Well, if you are that impatient, you can make a quick hot sauce in about 20 minutes. Take the same base ingredients, chilies, garlic, onion, and red pepper, chop them up roughly, then sweat them down in a little oil in a hot pan until softened. Then add lime zest, white wine vinegar, water, sugar, and salt. Bring it all up to the boil and simmer away gently for about 15 minutes. Once everything is softened, into a blender and blitz until smooth. Then straight into clean sterilized bottles, and that's your hot sauce done. Fast, vibrant, and spicy, but without the deep, complex flavor that you get from fermentation. Try them both and see which one you like best. If you want the full step-by-step method all written out for you, you can find it over on my Patreon along with all my other recipes. It's a great way to support the channel and get all the recipes in one place. And if you want more spicy recipes like this one, check out this video next.